The following prose passage question is asking about what you can infer from the opening paragraph. So we're not going to be looking at any specific quote from the opening paragraph, but taking the opening paragraph as a whole to ask what the setting is. Well, what's really nice about this paragraph is we start talking about the setting at the very beginning. We say the same energy which inspired the rooks. Okay, so there's some birds out there, the plowmen, so there's some workers, the horses, and even it seemed the lean bareback down. So the field's got some grassy hills. There's some downs out there. Sent the moth fluttering from side to side of his square of the window pane, and we're looking at this environment from within some house. We're looking through a window and we're looking at a moth. Now the rest of the paragraph is just going to describe the moth and its struggle, so we don't see any other mention of the setting except for this first sentence. But from the fact that we have birds out there, there's working men, horses, and we see some hilly terrain, we can come up with a conclusion here. So a farming community in the countryside. This looks really good. We're talking about a community. There's more than one person there. We see that there's some workers out there. Farming implies that you're going to have some farm animals at least, like horses. And in the countryside, you'd see things like bareback downs out there rather than skyscrapers or whatever you would see inside a city. So this looks like a good answer choice. Let's go ahead and consider the others. A suburban family home. This could be the case. The issue with this, and it could be surrounded by downs and certain birds, is the plowman. Unless you have people working for you in the suburban family home, that's not going to be very common. And if you did have people working for you, even then, we can't really infer that we're looking at a suburban family home and that there's no evidence here that there's any familial relationship between the author and anybody around. So this would be not really as much of an inference as an assumption. We don't have any evidence to lead to the conclusion this is a suburban family home. Whereas the fact that there's horses out there and people working around seems to imply that we're looking at a rural area. So we can get rid of this here. A sunny apartment in a city. Well, actually, I just mentioned the word apartment a second ago. We don't see skyscrapers or anything else out there. It's like a very pastoral environment and thinking of the hills out there. So that doesn't seem like a good answer choice. And an isolated remote cabin. This could be the case. We don't know that it's isolated and remote. We could be inside a cabin. And outside there just happen to be horses and plowmen and rooks, etc. But yeah, it's a bit hard to say that we don't know how far away this community is from the rest of civilization. Is it really isolated and remote? We don't know, and we can't make that inference. Again, this would be an assumption. These are different words. When you assume things, is you are reaching conclusions from evidence that is non-existent. Whereas when you infer things, you're like, well, we have some evidence that seems to point in a certain direction, like the fact that there's horses and people working on a field. That might make you, reach a conclusion that we're in a farming community. I hope that helped with this question, and happy prepping.